Hello and good afternoon, friends. Today I want to take you and look at a house from the 1940s and their type of well that's actually in a surprising location. I bet you've probably never seen something like this, so let's go ahead, get into it, and I'll show you what we're working with. All right, so we have an old house, right? And these older homes would generally have a well pit just like this. So as we can see here, we have our well inside of this lovely environment, right? And basically what'll happen is, before the house is even really built, they'll drill this well. And then they'll build the blocks around it. And so the well is this pipe right here. The pump is gonna be at the bottom of that pipe. It'll come up through those pipes and over here to the pressure tank. Now, we've already discussed in previous videos how something like this works. These types of wells are incredibly uncommon. You don't see them very much anymore because most of them have dried up or had to be replaced. So in a second, I'm gonna go in that hole and we're gonna see what's going on with that casing. But don't panic if you own a house that has a well pit, if you're buying a house that has a pit just like this. They're very common. There's nothing wrong with them. They're just gonna be really, really shallow. So a lot of these houses where they run into problems is they just run out of water, right? Like if you have a bunch of new construction around that house, their wells are gonna be deeper, they're gonna be better, they're gonna be less seasonally influenced, and usually that's where you end up having to replace the well. So let's go ahead, jump inside there and take a peek, see what we're working with. All right, so going ahead, getting a little bit closer into this system. And so what we can see here is we have our well casing. Now, something has happened to the casing to where there's a hole right in the side. Somebody's used some kind of epoxy-like substance to try and plug up that hole, but it's not really doing anything for them, so they're gonna need to get that addressed. We can see here that the water line comes up, and then it splits to the left and to the right. The one to the right is actually gonna be going to the well tank. The one to the left, I believe, is going to the barn, but we're not sure because the water's off. Now, whenever you have a hole in your casing like this, you're just asking for problems. Oftentimes, in these well pits, you'll see that they actually have an access cap right there. And that's gonna be so that way you can actually pull the pump out and change the pump itself. It's really, really tedious to pull that pump out, go all the way across and out the Bilco door, when it's much easier just to pull the thing straight up out of the well. Style of well is incredibly uncommon to see nowadays, as we've already discussed. More likely you're going to see the wells actually outside, somewhere in the yard on the opposite side of the septic. The general consensus is to put the well at the top of the hill or as high up on the property as you can possibly get. That's where the old adage stuff flows downhill comes from, the septic, right? So you want to make sure you stay away from it. When you have an old home like this, it's not a bad idea to at least consider going down the route of having a new well drilled. An old well like this is perfectly fine, but like I said, the biggest issue you're going to run into is going to be new development around you. And you know how the market is. Everybody needs a new home, so people are building up a lot. And with these modern construction properties, a lot of these wells that are being put in are gonna be deeper and more efficient than the well that you have. So you could run the risk of this thing going dry. Now, there's nothing stopping this well from working just fine, doing what it's supposed to do. The pump's gonna be the identical style. The pressure tank's gonna be exactly the same. Really, the big difference is going to be the volume of water and the quality of the water. Generally, with these types of wells, you're more likely to run into quality issues just because there's not as much filtering media above it, right? And you'll also have some seasonal influence. Let's just say you go for a 6-month drought, you do run the risk of that well not necessarily being as productive, right? This one's doing just fine. We're getting about 2.8 gallons per minute. It's on the low end of the state average, usually around 4 or 5 in our state, but 2.8 is perfectly fine. County minimum's 1, so as long as you're above 1, you're usually in decent shape. I hope that you found this useful. If you found this informative, hit that like button, hit subscribe. I have more videos posted every day on the world of well and septic. Till next time, guys.